Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today the video is going to be about brutally honest advice for women in their 20s and 30s. What no one else tells you about your career, relationship and self-worth. I think in today's time when our attention is where it's most valuable and it's often getting very much distracted with what's available out there, when information is accessed, when we are caught up with different apps and technology trying to advance ourselves and just really getting distracted on what are the things that really is going to help you propel forward with self-development or really just any kinds of improvement, are some of the really wise, brutal truth about what it really takes for you to get there. It is not just about following your dreams, loving yourself, words of affirmation every day, but when it's not with practical ways and certain action that comes with it, it can make you feel like it's just something that you idealize and dream of, but it's not something that's going to become a reality. So here are some brutal advice that I have thought about, reflected, collected over the years. I am now 38 years old where this video is filmed. I thought when I was in my early 20s that I got things figured out. As we are way more egoistic and we tend to be very defensive with who we think we are at a point of time. So if I could give any kind of advice to anyone that's coming to me and people that I coach, they always ask me things that are surrounding this topic, and therefore I thought sitting down with you guys here today, I just want to share with you 5 key takeaways and how it really has helped me to become really quite assured and optimistic with where I'm at and going towards. In some sense, I wish that someone would have told me earlier, and so I hope that you will find this video giving you some kind of perspective, at least if you are feeling a little bit lost in this moment. Sometimes listening to experiences from somebody else or just another perspective, it can really help you to make that switch. Maybe that's all you need to hear, and just what it takes for you to wake up and move towards the right direction. Brutal, honest advice number 1. No one cares about your potential, only result matters. We don't get rewarded for having dreams and trying to work our ass off, but rather we get rewarded for what we deliver. Did we actually hit the target? At the end of the day, it might sound really cold and harsh, but there are people who work really hard. They put in a lot of effort and tears, but they are not going towards the right direction, or maybe they don't have the right intention. Oftentimes, they will have this dissociated or disconnected kind of moment where I'm working so hard, but I'm still not getting there. So for example, for someone that has ambitious career goals of wanting to hit a certain salary amount or wanting to get that job promotion, I want to get promoted to that higher level job because I want to show people that I can cope with more projects, I can manage people. So things like that requires you to go through some kind of suffering, because that is how you shape yourself towards the level that you currently not at. So when you're trying to peel off whatever that is not you right now, because what you have right now may not be exactly what you desire, because you want to get to the next level. So it requires you to not just peel off certain layers that you have on yourself, but it's really a gruesome mental process where you need to drop some of the beliefs that you currently have in order to get to that stage, because you clearly are not there yet. If you have the same mindset and belief or limitation or way of thinking that is at the current moment, and you do not try to embrace the discomfort or the pain of what it takes to go to that next level, you will never get to that next level. So I always say focus on the output, not your effort. sometimes it's not about the daily grind of to-do list of I need to do this every day, and then not thinking of the fact that, okay, I've been doing this for a while, maybe I need to switch course, which is going to make people uncomfortable, and trying to adapt to that change and wanting to level up and wanting to switch course is again a different kind of effort. Some people think that by doing repeated things is like effort. For example, showing up to office every day at a certain timing and then making sure that you clock in those working hours. But actually, during those working hours, right, you are not the most productive person. So for example, you could be multitasking, you could be not setting the right intentions, not prioritizing the kind of work or task that is going to make the biggest impact, or maybe just letting your emotions run by you and not being able to make objective or sound decision at work. But then you're showing everybody else like you're putting in the effort, right? But then it's not achieving or hitting the target, not achieving the objective, not helping you to be productive. So sometimes hard work doesn't mean it's productive. And often, people who are very productive, they just found a smarter way to do it. And something that I got recently, if I'm not mistaken, is Chris Williamson's podcast. It's not about working hard, it's about working smart. But the thing is, when you never work hard before and then you attempt to work smart, that's how you're going to fail. Because often people who can work smart are those people who did the grind before, who have done the hard work before, then they found a way to make it more efficient and smart. So maybe ask yourself at this current moment, of all the things that you are doing, is it really helping you to get closer to your result, or you're just grinding on a day-to-day, putting a lot of effort, wearing you out, and there is not really an output? The next thing that you have to ask yourself is, are you even tracking your achievement? When I say achievement, it's not just about big achievement. It's really keeping a small wins journal. If you are not someone that likes to record down the things that you go through or journaling, you might find it like, ooh, those woo-woo people are the ones doing journaling. To be honest, you'll be surprised at how it's going to help you cognitively, mentally, when you actually intentionally sit down, reflect on your habits, your actions, your conversations in the past week. You don't even have to do it daily. You could do it like every Sunday or every Saturday thing. I used to be the person that would journal every day in the morning. But I realized that it came to a point where after a few years, I actually did it for many years, that I've reached a stage where I changed the way I do my meditation in the morning. So instead of writing it every day, I actually evolved to having a weekly journal that is more targeted, more intense, that really makes me reflect on the past 7 days or the past 6 days and make it quite meaningful, rather than knowing that I've been doing this every day and then sometimes every day is running out of things to write and I'm just going to write it because it's for the sake of writing. It's again putting too much on effort and not the output. So I wanted the journal, the keeping track of the things that I wish I did differently and the things that I did well in a more meaningful way. Therefore, from a daily thing, it evolved into a weekly thing. So I had to stop myself to ask, okay, I've been doing this daily. It's a lot of effort. Is it giving me a lot of meaning? And you have to switch course. And so that's why I evolve into a weekly format. It's a lot more for me to think about at the end of the week, but it is more meaningful. Another thing about having a journal that keeps tracks of your small wins, it really helps you to build confidence, because without evidence, you cannot feel confident. Without evidence, you cannot be competent. It goes hand in hand. So when you collect a lot of proof, you are more accountable to, for example, you say you want to achieve something, because you're collecting proof, trust me, your brain is going to make more pressure for you, and therefore you're going to try to create that proof. So I think this is something very small that a lot of people can incorporate into their lives. So again, No one cares about your potential. Only the result matters. Point number 2, being too nice won't get you respected, but having boundaries is what will. So here's some reality check. People pleasing will drain you and get you nowhere. I'm sure a lot of you out there who are empath, who are very compassionate, kudos to you. Of course, having these traits, there are a lot of pros to it. At the same time, with anything that is overdone, again, the dose is what makes the poison. When you care too much about what people think, when you want so much to make other people happy and you do not know how to balance it out with some boundaries to protect yourself, to love yourself, people know that you have no lines, there's no boundaries with you, so people can treat you and you are going to tolerate things that you are not supposed to. And over time, you will start developing a lot of internal sickness where you don't feel good in your mood, it affects your mental health. Some ladies even went into having autoimmune because it's all internalized. You teach people how to treat you based on what you tolerate. Practical tips: maybe start saying no without over explaining. It's extremely hard for a people pleaser. I think the power of no is really underestimated in this stance and maybe also misunderstood, because the people pleaser would think that people who easily say no are just, pricks and assholes. And you have to be aware of who's around you and who is always pushing you to say yes when you actually want to say no. When you want people to respect you, it is being able to speak with conviction. It is being able to voice out your opinion without worrying that, oh, it's going to make the other person unhappy because my life is all about them. It's not fair to you too. And so sometimes maybe the word no is just too intense. Maybe you can just do a level 1, because level 2 is no, right? There's level 3, we're not going to get there. Level 1 is obviously just say, I can't make a decision right now. I think there's a lot of things going on. Maybe just give me by the end of the day for me to come back to you. I think people pleasing, it's quite easy to spot. When you ask them about something, they not only badly want to say things to make you feel comfortable, but when you ask them about something, for example, do you want to have lunch with me later, or you want to join a party later, they will say yes, but you can feel that the yes is being forced. There are like some micro expression body language coming out as they don't want to go, but for some reason they say yes. Once upon a time, I was a people pleaser, all because I was very insecure of myself, and I felt like if I don't say yes, people are not going to like me, they're going to judge me, I'm not going to get the things that I want, which I think it's a very normal thing to feel or to have. But at the end of the day, I realized that my resentment, the regrets that I have after saying yes, causes me more pain and makes me pay more than me just saying no from the start. So sometimes, right, when you say too much of your yes and then you don't really show up and then you are not very trustworthy with your words, so your yes becomes not trustworthy. And then when you actually say no, it also becomes untrustworthy. And so I think it is a power you need to take back. When you are too nice, no one is actually going to respect you. People are just going to walk all over you. So having boundaries is a form of setting a place for yourself to be respected, and this is how you show other people how you are supposed to be treated. Point number 3, your partner is not your plan. Build your own life. Reality check, your life is not just all about relationship. There are some people or women out there who are extremely independent. Of course, they are like lone wolf. They can really much navigate their way. Their independence is everything. But if you do too much of that, you neglect the importance of having good relationship, having quality time with people that you love, which I think is what is going to set the success for someone who have ambitious goals. So it goes hand in hand, it's yin and yang. You cannot just forgo one and then expect everything to be fine and then get what you want. That's not how life works. We already know why yin and yang exists. So when I say your partner is not your plan, building your own life is important. It's because it makes you more attractive. It's not about I'm just gonna wait at home for my partner and let my partner plan my day and then everything is surrounding my partner. I think it's a very wishful, idealistic, fantasy-like mindset that it's not going to work in real life. When people see that you have this anxious attachment very much, being very needy, it just makes you appear like you don't have a spine of your own and not being able to do things for yourself. Like I said, anything that is done too much, it can be perceived as negative. But for those of you who always rely on other people, this kind of links to my point number 2, right? You also end up becoming like a people pleaser. And then when you have nothing of your own to hold on to, your happiness then is based on other people. And so that's not a very pragmatic or wise strategy to go in life. At the end of the day, we only have ourselves. It shows you the kind of time you spend with the people around you. Like for example, in your late 20s to mid 30s or 40s, you will spend a lot of time with your work colleagues. Especially for those of you who are working 9 to 5. It's all about meeting a lot of clients, you're always with your colleagues because of how things are scheduled at work. But then as you grow older, when you have a family, you drift away from having kids. It's very close to them, and then as your kids grow up and when you grow older and older, of course the sad part is we all die alone, right? At the end of the day, the best investment that you can make is on yourself, because when you pour your own cup, you take care of yourself, you can take care of other people. Build your own life first, then use that as a value add to other people. Brutally honest advice number 4. Your looks open doors, but substance keeps you in the room. Cannot believe I'm saying this for someone that is very much doing a lot of fashion for my professional work. But I must say that this is also advice that I will twist a little bit in terms of, yes, looks does open door, but having substance is going to make the look even more substantial and impactful or powerful. It goes hand in hand. Even if you have substance, it keeps you in a room, but you have no looks, the door won't be there. The door will never be open. So it goes hand in hand, right? That as much as you want to take care of your physical appearance, and not, what I mean by this is that it's not going overboard and trying to create an image that is totally not yourself and really become so superficial that people only focus on your looks and then they don't really pay attention to the things that you say. There's always some sort of balance. And at the end of it, this topic is very much sensitive because it plays with people's self-esteem. It can link to body dysmorphia. It can really affect the way you perceive yourself. And reality check, first impression matter. You do not need to look like somebody else in order for you to succeed in life. It's more about understanding that you have physical traits, right? Like for example, very basic thing, how my hair is like, how my facial features are. Like really getting to know yourself. You can work with a professional stylist like myself, trying to understand, okay, this is what we are working with, my body shape, my body proportion, my skin tone, what kind of color type I am. And then we look into the personality. What kind of personality do you have? What is your image goal? And then we look at your lifestyle. We look at your goals in life. We look at how people perceive you and how you perceive yourself. It's very much getting all this data in check and then using image goal as a simple guide. Do you want to appear more approachable, or do you want to appear more competent? Or do you currently already appear a bit more strict, sharp, but you want people to open up to you? It's doing that kind of analysis that is going to help you to have an image that goes hand in hand with what you want to project from the inside. One point to also add on is some people, they just focus so much on the looks. But then as you start to speak to them, not only that they have no character, but obviously the way you carry yourself, the way you make other people feel, or how you influence them is what is going to leave that lasting impression. The first impression I see it as, it's just when you first walk into somebody's house, right? What is your first impression? It sends you a lot of cues about what's the habit of this person, what's this person like, what's this person surrounded with. It's a reflection of the person's state of mind. It gives you a snapshot of what the person is. It may not entirely be what the person is on the inside. For example, you don't know whether this is a person that has morality, this person is very kind-hearted. These things, obviously, you cannot really wear it on the outside. But there are certain things, certain colors, certain styling that you can wear to emulate that, not 200, but you can ultimately influence how people perceive you. I think I'm going to take myself as an example, is that I wear black so much that honestly, if I don't have this charisma or the way I speak or my expression and people who really know me in real life, the kind of witty jokes that I make, and I may appear very serious, but I know when I speak to people, it usually doesn't come off as that. And depending on who I'm meeting, I strategically style outfits and colors that would help me to project the kind of image that I think is going to benefit that person. And so, investing in your image is not just to please people, but it is for you to project confidence and some sense of what kind of perception you want people to have of you. Your fit, your grooming, and your overall posture, it goes hand in hand. At the end of the day, we always have this statement of, I don't know about this vibe. This person's vibe is just very off. And for us, our gut and our brain, we can sometimes sense it, but we can't really see it. And so when it comes to the psychology of fashion, it is really quite powerful, and I'm still surprised that many people don't really talk about it, but we are so focused on the aesthetics and the trends. But then at the end of the day, again, if you have no substance, it's not going to matter. When I say invest, it doesn't mean that it's just monetary. Taking time to learn or go through certain YouTube videos, learning about what's your body shape, what's your face shape, what's your skin tone, what kind of color suits you more. Understand that, white makes you look more open and gray makes you look more serious. It's very simple things like that. It's just self-education is already a good foundation. And then slowly work your way up on the basic things. Like, for example, making sure that you do your hair right, things that within your control, and not wearing t-shirt that too worn out, or maybe clothes that really not flattering on you. All these things really starts from you educating yourself and having the awareness. But for people who really want to take it a notch up and really want to shortcut all of this, of course, then you engage a style consultant, a personal stylist. They can then help you objectively analyze what will suit you. And to be honest, after you work with a professional on this, you wouldn't be a trend victim. You wouldn't feel so insecure and caught up with what's being offered out there, because you have a very strong strategy and direction on what looks good for your image. And also, when you invest in your image, also invest in your brain. Spend just 5 minutes reading something from a book that you think is going to help you with your skill. Maybe watch a TED Talk. Sometimes the TED Talk is not even that long, or even take a very short course that is free. All these things are available out there, and just learning something new is going to help you to build that competence and that substance while you take care of your image. I just think that style plus substance is really an unstoppable combo, because when your inside is being taken care of, your outside is also in control. What else is there to really affect you, right? And last but not least, point number 5. Self-worth comes from action, not affirmation. Here's the reality check. You won't feel confident just by repeating, I am enough, I am enough, I am enough. You actually need proof, as I mentioned in one of the points. Self-trust is built by the actions that you take. Your brain sees it, records it as an experience that you actually go through. Self-trust is also built by the promises that you keep when you make it. This not only helps you to trust yourself, it also helps you to be very responsible and accountable when you promise somebody something. I think it can be very overwhelming when you have a lot of things to do and you have a lot of desires to get out from the situation that you're in. So this kind of situation actually makes you want to plan a lot and do a lot of things. This is the greatest mistake that people make, is that they do not know how to set small winnable goals. They do not know how to take the baby steps. It's always taking the leap, because the leap compensates the fact that they don't feel good. I have made this kind of mistake before, because the overcompensation is what regulates us, right? But it's not a healthy way to do things. And so instead of setting big goals, which is going to make you feel good in the moment, but it's not going to feel good in the long run because you're not going to be able to achieve it, is to then, okay, you can have a big picture of what is the ideal goal, what is the ideal that you're trying to achieve, what is that end goal. Use ChatGPT, use that and prompt it and ask, okay, now help me break down this goal by daily actions. Sometimes it can be very difficult if you are not great at planning, you're not very experienced. So something like, I want to lose 10 kg by end of the year, which is actually quite a lot, and you do not know what are the small little steps to take it. Sometimes, like I said, working with a professional is going to shortcut a lot of things. Yes, it requires some kind of investment, but because you give out something, it's supposed to come back to you, right? It's that law of giving and receiving. When you say that you're going to do something, especially when it's a small thing, you better make sure that you do it, because sometimes the small things, like for example, okay, tomorrow I'm going to make sure that I finish this presentation. You say to yourself, but you know that your deadline is not there yet, but you just say, I want to finish it earlier just in case. Let's say that's the scenario. And then by the day comes, there is that tomorrow, and then you're like, yeah, but I have another day, so I'm just going to delay it. So this is how you subconsciously, right, or unconsciously program yourself to be a very unreliable person. And so the first time you do it, the second time you do it, the third time you do it, you're going to see how this, instead of becoming a good habit, it's going to be a bad habit. So for me, I always have a general rule of thumb, is that if it's the second time it's happening, I will really change things. I know that if it's the second time about to happen, I'll be like, no, I'm actually going to go do it. Sometimes I don't even make it to the second time, because I know that the moment you make the second time, right, it's like you're consciously not wanting to do this. If you don't keep to that promise, sometimes life happens, right? We cannot control everything. So if it's the first time, don't bash yourself. Okay, it's only strike one. I will make sure that there's no strike two. If you know that this is the second time, you're like, I'm sorry, but I really just going to do it. Is to keep the momentum going. Remember, consistency is not about every day. It can go like that, but it has to keep going. That's the whole point. Progress builds confidence more than perfection ever will. To conclude, no one is coming to save you. This is applicable for your career, relationship, and really much thinking about your self-worth. And I think the good news is that because all of this is within us, it's how we reframe our mind, it's within our control, it's our perception, it's the responses and the actions that we take. What you have in here is going to be the power to change everything. Anyways, guys, I hope you found this useful. Let me know your thoughts, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.